It's time for Celebrity Profile on Asteroid G. You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is
Josh Schaefer,
Captain Queen Bee.
And today we're going to be doing a celebrity profile, finally for a woman, after 3.5 celebrity profiles for dudes. I mean, we kind of did a Kevin Smith one, and then we just kept bitching about him. But yeah, we have a celebrity profile for Hayley Atwell, who most of us know as Peggy Carter from the entirety of the MCU, who I think at this point is one of the few characters to have, like, the most screen time of anyone, and that was even before she had a TV show. So, yeah. So, she's an interesting actress. She, from the looks of things, she started off basically 4 or 5 years before the MCU, had a lot of little bits and like small TV shows on the Beeb and things like that. But it was, of course, Peggy Carter who took off for her, and that's most of where her career is at this point. I find it interesting, and mostly because she did a lot of, dramas and very British things. And yes, she was brought in to play a British character with Peggy Carter, but her entire career has basically been subsumed by the MCU at this point, for good or for ill.
Okay.
So, thoughts?
Well, I think Captain Carter and Captain America and being Captain Carter in the first Avenger, it was her breakout role. It's where people started seeing her. I mean, once you make a deal with the devil Disney, then you can pretty much write your own paycheck. So let's just be honest. Since she got on to that particular train ride, she has been in a ton of Disney/Adventure movies.
She has. Yeah, it's because, I mean, I think before she got on with Captain Carter, or Agent Carter, her biggest role was essentially in Brideshead Revisited, one of those very British drama movies that, goes up for awards and so forth, and no one ever watches.
Well, she wasn't Doctor Who. She played a character, Asha, in Doctor Who and the Blood of the Daleks Part 1 and 2. And then she has been in a handful of just, one-part movies. Fear of Fanny, The Ruby and the Smoke, Mansfield, that was a TV movie. A lot of these were TV movies. I guess she's a TV actor first. And then she got into Captain America, First Avenger, Super Soldier, video game. I mean, she was, you're contracted to play all these parts.
Oh, she was on a radio show for Doctor Who. I'm sitting there going, where's her Doctor Who stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, radio
it's
drama.
A radio show. Yeah.
Okay.
She was in Black Mirror. She played Martha in the Black Mirror, if you remember that episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't have a career. I'm just saying that, there's a clear delineation point. And, I mean, good for her. She's on the gravy train that is the MCU and has potentially the most appearances of practically anyone in the MCU. It's just, like, a lot of what she used to do is basically gone. For good or for ill.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, she has played a handful of moms for various movies. She was in Cinderella. She played Cinderella's mom.
She played Christopher Robin, where she played
Christopher Robin.
Mom.
Right.
Yeah. Peter Rabbit, where she plays Mittens. I'm going to assume that's a mom, too, honestly.
Yes, Mittens' is mom, yes.
Yeah, see, called it. She is going to be in the next Mission Impossible, at least Mission Impossible 7, as someone. I mean, it's hard to know for Mission Impossible whether or not they're going to be a good guy or a villain. Hell, even right up to the point where you actually watch the movie, you don't know if any one of those films is going to be a good guy or a villain. So no clue who Grace is actually going to be for Hayley Atwell. I know she's in that movie.
But it looks like she's growing out of, it looks like she may have hopped over Universal because Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
She's filming those right now. Mm-hmm. So, and Tomb Raider as Lara Croft.
I think that's a voice, but yeah, that's a good one right there. I mean, you got to have someone with the proper British voice for that character if you're going to do it right.
It's the TV series. Is it animated?
Yeah, it says voice, so I'm assuming animated.
It's like the Castlevania one.
Yeah. Ooh, I would watch that. That'd be good.
I think it's by the same animation studio, but I might be wrong.
Well, they did say they wanted to do a whole video game universe with that, because I think they have Was it Devil May Cry? That studio also has the rights to. I think that's right. So, and I mean, I know she was on some other stuff. She did. She was on after Agent Carter got killed off. Not like the character, but the show. She was on Conviction, which was I don't think it's the one that was Law and Order related. I think that was a different Conviction.
Criminal UK, I believe.
Yeah, there was that too. Criminal UK is actually a pretty decent show. I like it better than the other two ones, even though they're all filmed on basically the same set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very strange show, honestly. But the UK one I actually rather liked. But yeah, no, I think she's gotten some parts. But I mean, everyone likes her for Agent Carter, and that's why she keeps coming back for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even for stuff that isn't MCU related, like Avengers Assemble, she's still Peggy Carter, because can you have Peggy Carter without that specific voice? So.
Exactly. You can't just put any English, like you can't put what's her face? Who's another British actress?
Well, I was just going to say, but Idris Elba's Agent Carter. I'd be there for that.
You can't just replace her with Keira Knightley, is what I'm saying.
No,
like you can't just put in any English actress. You have to have her because everybody's used to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
certainly.
I'll tell you, in the What If series that has recently come out and that we've all been watching, I'm sure.
Except
when they don't use a person's voice, it's like that's not who I know as Pepper Potts, or that's not who I know as Steve Rogers. It makes a difference to people watching it.
And some of the voice likes on that show aren't bad. Like the guy who did the voice recently for Iron Man wasn't terrible. But it does lose a certain amount of verisimilitude if you don't have the real actor doing the voice at that point. That said, Robert Downey Jr. is hideously expensive, so you can't expect them to get him to do his voice for like 5 minutes on a show at this point.
But I do like the fact that they used Chadwick Boseman. Anyway, getting back to Hayley Atwell.
Yes.
I think that she, and she's still new in her career. She's only been acting since 2005?
2005. I mean, that's 16 years. She's gotten around a bit more than the last one we talked about, which was Tom Holland. Her career's gone on longer. She does pick decent stuff. I mean, I didn't see that Cinderella one, but as bad as like some of the plotting of Christopher Robin itself was, her performance in it was good, and it wasn't a bad movie. It was a fairly successful Disney movie for what it was. And some of her shows are pretty good. I mean, again, like Conviction was decent. I think it's more just the someone who has a very overt British accent has only so much they can do on big American productions, which is where most of, Hollywood is right now. So outside of Agent Carter, it's hard for her to get a big gig to match that. I mean, the reason she was in a Disney movie for Christopher Robin was because she's British. So, and that's a British set movie.
Which is why Ewan McGregor was in it as well, so...
Yeah, but just being Ewan McGregor. I kept sitting there going, okay, this is an easy solution. Just wow your family by pulling out your lightsaber. They're going to be cool with it, and everyone's going to be fine. Just come on.
I mean, I think her titular arc or part is Captain Carter. That's what everybody knows her for. Yeah.
I mean, she didn't have the same career death and then resurgence that Robert Downey Jr. did, but I think for a lot of people who are in the MCU, that part is going to overshadow their career for the rest of their lives. Robert Downey Jr. will always be Iron Man no matter what else he does. Scarlett Johansson did a lot of stuff before Black Widow, but she's only going to be known for Black Widow no matter what she goes and does now. All the various Chris's are pretty much going to have that. Like, I think the only one of them who, like, you would remember that he was on anything else outside of it was another one we've discussed, Chris Pratt. And that's just because Parks and Rec was so huge for him, and he's in an ensemble for Guardians of the Galaxy, never having had a solo movie. Chris Pratt, like, gets this weird thing where he gets to have both Star-Lord and the doofus from Parks and Rec that we will remember him for. But most people...
because it's the same character.
It is. It is. You're not wrong on that front. But Hayley Atwell will forever be Agent Carter, no matter what else she goes and does. And I think her role on that is going to overshadow and maybe not taint is the right word, but kind of everything else she does moving forward. Because people are going to see her and they'd be like, why aren't you playing Agent Carter again?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think they really missed the mark. Instead of making a TV show, they should have made a movie of Agent Carter. But
a movie, yeah, no, I agree. She needed a movie, and I can appreciate what they did, but the TV shows on ABC were never treated as well as they should have been. And I think an Agent Carter movie that followed up on the Captain Rogers time period and moved on from there would have been perfect.
She is a Londoner. She has dual citizenships with the United States.
Well, that's probably what people do at this point.
She's an only child.
So there's only one Agent Carter. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, there's only one Agent Carter. You can't replace her. She has been in a handful. I mean, she was, not that I'm a huge fan of Woody Allen, but she was in Cassandra's Dream. So that's and she did Hamlet with Ralph Fiennes. So I mean, she does stage acting as well as movies and TV. She is mostly a TV actress.
Mm-hmm. I think, again, because we're running into that issue of it's hard to cast a British lady in American movies.
Right.
It has to be a very specific part.
They say her trademark on IMDb is a warm smile. I would say that her trademark is Captain Carter.
Yes, Captain Carter.
Yeah.
It's the shield with the stars and stripes on it, however you want to do it. That's, yeah.
She's not against nude scenes.
Oh, hey.
Good to know. Let's see.
Go on.
Yeah, Brideshead Revisited, I guess. That's what you were talking about in 2008.
That was her big breakout. Like, the Woody Allen one is probably the one that got her some notice, but Brideshead is the one that I've actually heard about repeatedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, there's some interesting things about her. And, she seems genuine, so I like her as a person.
Yeah,
I've seen her.
It's funny that you mentioned Keira Knightley because she was in The Duchess with Keira Knightley and Ray Fiennes. Yeah. So, I mean, but not as the lead, not as the Duchess, just as a Duchess. A singular Duchess. Josh, thoughts?
I honestly don't know too much about her. I've never watched anything she's been in except for a Captain America movie.
That's the problem. And I think that's why I say that a lot of her stuff is dwarfed by that role. And for good, I mean, she's probably making cool bank off of that at this point, and likeness rights and everything else, because those movies are never going to die. But
right,
yeah, I mean, you talk about her outside of Agent Carter, and we're like Sandra's Dream and Brideshead Revisited and The Duchess, and you're sitting there going, stuff I'd never watch.
You haven't seen Christopher Robin?
I watched Christopher Robin. I haven't seen Cinderella. I kept trying to watch it, but it wasn't in Disney Plus at the time.
Well, don't hang your head on that.
I know it's forgettable.
She's like in it for all of 5 seconds, but
I was going to watch it for at the website just so I could review all those live action remakes that suck. But
the costuming is really good. Mm-hmm. The acting is okay. Yeah. The costuming is really good.
Yeah.
But if you're going to watch something with her in it, I thought you guys watched The Prisoner or something like that. Did you not?
I didn't watch the remake.
Okay.
No.
But she's in it for 5 episodes. I mean, it only ran for like one season or one miniseries. Okay.
I really liked the Black Mirror episode she was in, so that might be worth a watch.
There you go. But yeah, again, even on her TV stuff, Agent Carter. Lots of Agent Carter.
Yeah.
If they do a theatrical production of Rogers the Musical for real, there will be Agent Carter that she will play. Yeah. That will be her.
That would be amazing. I would so love to see that. Disney, if you're listening.
Disney, do Rogers the Musical for real and let Hayley Atwell play Agent Carter in it.
Amazing. That would be amazing.
I don't think we're going to get a nude scene in that. I'm just saying.
No, not stage nude scene. She's okay with movies, but not stage. Okay. Anyway, so you haven't seen Hayley Carter or Agent Carter, Josh. So what do you like about Hayley Atwell playing Captain Carter?
Man, I mean, she looks the part. They got her. I believe that she was from the 40s when I watched Captain America, and she carried the scenes that she was in. I thought.
I mean, could you reboot her as someone else? Like, recast? Would you use a different act? Yeah, would you recast her with a different actress?
No, probably not. But I don't know. She has like this nice, like, I don't want to say Betty Page vibe, but Betty Page vibe. Like, I can see her doing something like that, but as far as like recasting her in Agent Carter, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that I think would be better.
Yeah,
And
I'm looking at
I think that with almost all the Marvel characters.
there aren't that many British actresses that are huge in Hollywood right now. We are looking at a lot of people who unfortunately are like not the right age, you know, because you're looking at like Helena Bonham Carter and Judi Dench, both of which who would have been in their prime. Excellent Agent Carters opposite Chris whatever his name is.
Which Chris? Evans, Pratt.
Evans, thank you. That one. I mean, Emily Blunt's another one, but I don't think she has the right look for Agent Carter. Looking down the list, Emilia Clarke, who's no, it's
I can't see that.
Yeah, like Felicity Jones doesn't have quite the right look because you are right. You want that like 1940s vibe that just naturally comes off of them, you know. And
well, I mean, she's curvier. She has like the nice pale skin that was really popular in the 40s. Like, I don't know. I think I think like the casting choice was obvious now, but
yeah, I mean, the only other one I look at on this list of top British actresses is like Gemma Arterton, who was in.
Well, I would say Natalie Dormer because she was actually in the first Avengers. She played the blonde.
I forget she was in it because her role was forgettable.
Right, it was forgettable, but she did play the blonde.
Forgettable. Oh, that's right. She was in Prince of Persia, the Gemma Arterton or whatever her name is. Yeah. She was in Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. She's got a good look, but it is a very specific look for Agent Carter, and I think you are correct in that Hayley Atwell, which I mean, this is a credit once again to the casting the MCU does that we've touched upon before. They find just the right person for everyone in their movies except for Hulk.
Right.
So,
I mean, they're going to be criticized for Tilda Swinton because they should have used somebody of color to play that part, but
they probably should have. They should have. I liked the idea behind Tilda Swinton's casting in there. But if you were like, I like them trying to avoid any Asian stereotype or bad racial stereotype whatsoever. But it did become white savior by doing Tilda Swinton in there. So
yeah, I agree, and I liked her in the part, but the moment I saw it, I was like, going, "Oh, they're going to get hit for that one."
Yeah, exactly. It worked for what it was. It worked in the context of the movie, but in the larger context of Marvel Comics, it didn't work. They probably honestly should have switched her out with Benedict Wong. Yeah. Honestly, I think Benedict Wong would have been a really good leader of that group instead of having Tilda Swinton for it. Because he's got presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got presence and he's got that wry humor that Tilda Swinton also is able to do. He would have been great for that particular role. So, yeah.
Well, I wonder if they brought them both in thinking that maybe, having doing that part and then decided to go with Tilda Swinton in the last.
Maybe the people got cold feet and were like, we can't do an Asian for this terrible stereotypical role. We've got to do something different. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, so no, I like Hayley Atwell and what I've seen her in, and I think she embodies that role so well that she makes it watchable. She is Agent Carter, and every time she's on screen, you're like, yay, Agent Carter, yay! Just wish they'd done more with her. Like, her Captain Carter role now is great as a voice role. I want to see her come into live action.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. I think she'd be amazing.
Yeah, she needs to pop up in Loki and then, like, get dragged over into the real universe so that she can, like, take over a new team of the Avengers. Shove, like, Captain Marvel out of the side because she's boring. Take over that role and then hang out with Spider-Man. The two of them can go fight crime. Spidey and the Captain. That's my new detective show.
I love it. You definitely should do it. I love it.
Okay. Anyone else? Anything else?
No, I think we've talked about Miss Atwell, and kudos to you, ma'am. I think you are a wonderful actress if you ever hear this podcast.
Oh, I'm sure she listens avidly every week.
Right?
Yeah.
We have Tom Holland and Hayley Atwell listening to us, and definitely
and Idris Elba. And none of them talk about it on Twitter, which I think is absolutely rude, but at least they're listening.
And Peter Dinklage, yes. One of our huge. Those are our five. Those are our five listeners.
Yeah. He does not. And that's it. Anyway, this has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. Still waiting for Peter Dinklage to call us up and let us hang out with him and Hayley Atwell. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
Scott Schaefer.
Captain Queen Bee.
And we will see you next time.